Today's special guest is Gail Schaberg. Gail is not only emeritus musician with the Orchestra of Northern New York as principal flute from 1988 through 30
years total, but
yeah,
not principal
30
all
seasons.
that time.
And I'm going to come back to that question in a little bit. But she's also an emeritus faculty member from the Crane School of Music, where she was in the music education department, but her specialty was special ed. And I can't tell you how many students I tried to send to take classes with her because she was such an amazing, amazing teacher and player. I wanted to ask you, though, about your early years first. Did you first start on flute, or did you start on another instrument?
Actually, I started on piano. I had maybe 2 years of piano before I started flute in 4th grade. And it was both for quite a while, then finally just flute.
Yeah, that's the way mine sort of did. The piano finally
Yeah,
started
it faded
to
out, although I still kept playing.
And where did you begin these studies? Was this in a public school education?
Yeah, it was public school. It was a band program, but even somewhere along the way, the band director was giving private lessons to the students. So I had school private lessons, and later, probably my sophomore year in high school.
And so you started piano in 2nd grade and flute around 4th grade. Where was the school that you began? Where was this you grew up?
This was a town about the size of Potsdam in Ohio, Dover, Ohio. And it had a wonderful music program, and had a reputation of a strong music program in the public schools.
I know Dover has a good program because when I was teaching at Ohio University, when I left the Montreal Symphony, I recruited at the Dover schools often, quite often. And
I think it still continues.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful program. And and you went to school then in terms of college and training, where did you go?
Well, I started at DePauw University in Indiana. They were going to have a music therapy program, which I had heard about, and they were going to start a program, so I went there. Also, it was a small school, which I wanted. And by my sophomore year, they decided, no, we're not going to start it. So I transferred to Michigan State, which had the first college music therapy program. And so I completed it there, did an internship in New Jersey. And then right after that, we were married. And that was another.
So you met Roy, and your husband, who was as we interviewed in another talk, who was our principal horn, and both of you were charter members, but you met him during your undergrad?
Right, at Michigan State. We were both playing in the Lansing Symphony one summer between my junior and senior years, and that was a wink, did it.
Wow, that's incredible. Was the wink during band, or was the wink during orchestra?
Orchestra.
So at what point did you actually decide that you wanted to do music as a career?
Really, in high school. When I first heard about music therapy, I was fortunate my dad would take me on home visits. He was a physician, and he took me to some mental institutions when he had patients there. And I just saw some music programs with young children and adults at that time, which was back in the early 50s. And when I first saw those programs, it just hit that that's what I wanted to do. Even in high school, I had flute students for 50 cents a lesson. And, but then when I really saw music in action, that helped me decide. Probably, I don't know, junior year in high school, I knew that was where I was headed. So that was the path I took.